A few years ago, I got really sick. I became disabled. I wasn't able to take care of myself. I was experiencing physical issues and then also real health issues. And I wound up in so much pain. And then I gained about 55 pounds and I was experiencing digestive issues on top of everything. It was pretty rough. And I was going to the doctors. I was going to the surgeons. I was going to physical therapy. And things were not improving. I felt hopeless, helpless, and powerless. I was not doing great. And what happened for me feels like a miracle. And I'm finding that miracles happen. I've recently come to an understanding of what is happening, what's continuing to happen. And the reason I'm sharing it with you is because I want to share it with you. I am sharing it with you. So at that time, I was in physical, spiritual, and emotional pain. I was in pain everywhere. And something within me attracted me to a spiritual community called the Gene Keys. The Gene Keys are based on a number of things, one of which is astrology. It talks about our unique design. It points out and illuminates some of the shadow frequencies, the habitual patterns and ways of being that get in my way, the energies that I have the tendency to experience over and over. And what this does is it helps me, it helps us to recognize them. And in recognizing them, we are no longer enslaved to them. This newness for me showed up as a little voice. It's that little quiet, persistent voice for me. I don't know what it might be for you. But it started to whisper to me, Tai Chi. Tai Chi? What is that? And I went. And at this time, I had been trying everything. And so I followed that voice. I followed it. I found a local Tai Chi class and I went to it. At the time, I could not stand. I mean, I could stand, but I was in so much pain. And I would literally stand for about 3 minutes and then I would sit down. I carried a stool with me everywhere I went. I followed that voice. And I went and I stood in that room for as long as I could, and then I sat down and I stood back up and we started to move very slowly, very gently. We did almost nothing. And in doing the almost nothing, I healed. I began to heal. It was absolutely miraculous. I can't, and I wondered for so long, what happened? How did I barely cross the threshold to that class? And I would go every week. How did 55 pounds literally fall off of my body? I couldn't keep the weight on. After some time, I began to stand for that whole class. I began to perform for the whole class. I began to heal. And I have been amazed what physical therapy couldn't do, what the doctor said could not happen, has happened. What I've come to find out, what I've come to learn, is that the ancient healing arts of Tai Chi and Qigong are that. They are an elixir of health that we create within our human body. That there is a combination of things that we can do that will release our innate internal healing within us. I'm not saying we can cure everything. I'm saying I feel like I've experienced the most incredible miracle. And it didn't come from outside of me. So long we just have been relying on so much outside of ourselves, and maybe it's time to shift. Maybe it's time to awaken the healer within. And through it all, I have developed this need. It's an urge, it's a calling. It is a need to share these beautiful ancient healing modalities with others. And so I have been inviting people into what I call moving meditations, where we are aligning with the seasons, with our own natural rhythm, with the natural world around us, and we are awakening our healers within. I look so forward to meeting you and to moving with you. Take such good care.